Hi, my name is Kaylee.
And my name is Camille. And we are presenting the great American scientists in the 1920s. As the U.S. looks forward to a bright new decade, we will be looking back at some of the greatest minds in the 1920s. They range from doctors to physicists.
First up is Robert Millikan. In 1923, the Nobel Prize for Physics went to Robert Millikan for his work related to the charge of the electron. Robert Andrew Millikan was born in 1868 in California. In 1891, Millikan graduated from Oberlin College and was offered a job there teaching elementary physics. He worked there for 2 years before taking a fellowship at Columbia University. From 1910 to 1921, Millikan was a professor at the University of Chicago and wrote several textbooks about physics. However, he soon began to notice that the people who received scientific recognition were the people doing research. Between 1920 and 1923, Millikan studied the electromagnetic spectrum between ultraviolet and X radiation. His best-known work was his research on the charge of the electron. Millikan improved an experiment designed by H.J. Wilson by substituting oil for water, which allowed him to better measure the electron's charge. Another great scientist was Edwin Powell Hubble. Hubble is often credited as the founder of modern astronomy. Born in 1889 in San Marino, California, Hubble attended the University of Chicago, where he earned his bachelor's degree in math and astronomy. While at the University of Chicago, Hubble discovered a love of astronomy under the guidance of Robert Millikan and George Hale. In 1917, Hubble was awarded a PhD for his investigations of the planetary nebulae. When World War I broke out, Hubble enlisted in the U.S. Army and briefly served in France. On his return to the United States, Hubble's old mentor Hale offered him a position at the Mount Wilson Observatory in Los Angeles. There, Hubble made some of his greatest achievements. In 1923, his observations of the Andromeda Galaxy were the first to indicate that it lies far outside of our solar system. By 1924, Hubble had discovered 36 new stars. In 1929, he had calculated the distance from our solar system for 8 new galaxies. Hubble's work also focused on the relationship between the luminosity and magnitude of stars, the structures of galaxies and their motion and distribution, and developing a classification system for galaxies. However, Hubble's biggest achievement is considered to be his observation and evidence for the expansion of the universe. His discovery changed our understanding of the universe as being static to one of increasing relative distance between its parts. This concept is now known as Hubble's law of proportionality of distance and radial velocities of galaxies. Hubble's discovery is considered as important to our understanding of the universe as Copernicus's model of the heliocentric solar system.
In 1927, the Nobel Prize winner in physics was Arthur H. Compton. He covered work in the Earth's rotation as well as extensive studies in X-rays. Compton was born in Wooster, Ohio, and studied at Princeton for 3 years after attending the College of Worcester. While working at Westinghouse Electric and Manufacturing Company, he made a sodium vapor lamp. And then in 1920, he was appointed Wayman Crowe Professor of Physics and head of the Department of Physics at Washington University in St. Louis. In 1923, he moved to University of Chicago as Professor of Physics to continue his research with X-rays. He focused on the wavelength of the X-rays when they collide with the electrons in metals. He found that the wavelength increases as the rays are scattered. This discovery is now known as the Compton effect, and it won him the Nobel Prize in Physics just 2 years ago. With his extensive work on X-rays, he has also just recently discovered that Millikan's oil drop value should be 4.803 times 10 to the negative 10th, not 4.774 times 10 to the negative 10th. Another man taking huge steps in the science field was Harvey Cushing. He came from a long line of medical practitioners, and after going to a manual training school, he attended Yale and then Harvard Medical School. He then began interning at Boston Children's Hospital and Massachusetts General Hospital, where he and a fellow developed the first continuous anesthesia record for a patient. Upon his graduation, he started assisting William Halsted at the Department of Surgery at Johns Hopkins. He also did many research projects that included the discovery of fasting to sterilize the stomach. This is now being used to improve the preparation of patients for surgical procedures. After 4 years, he toured Europe to study under some of the greatest surgeons and keep doing research. He and Theodore Kocher discovered that pressure in the brain was related to blood pressure and pressure in the medulla. When he returned, he became professor of surgery at Harvard University at the Peter Bent Brigham Hospital and focused on neurosurgery. He has now trained almost 20 assistant residents and has written numerous papers. Cushing has done almost 2,000 surgeries by now and will probably reach that number in the next few years. He's starting to be called the father of surgery, and rightfully so.
And that's an overview of the 4 greatest American scientists in the 1920s. The amazing discoveries of these men change the way we view our universe and even improve our daily lives. And that is American science in the 1920s. Thanks for watching!